Gia. Alright, today we're going to discuss random grain engine. Random grain and glass grain are in the same thing. You get them both. Down here's the random grain. Up here's the glass grain. Now, what this is this is more like loose phonons. Up here is like when sand is getting hit with lightning, or has been hit with lightning, you know, it turns to glass. Now, the glass grain's a bit darker, a little bit more rough around the edges, steppy and squarish. And you can see the shapes here below. So the sine, triangle, saw, square. This is glass grain, sine, glass grain, triangle, saw, and square. So I'll bring the camera a little bit closer, and you can see. We will also see here on the diagram how it goes. So from heavily scattered, clustered, and heavily clustered. And you see that here. So we'll jump over here to the box and set up in a knit. And we'll screw around, we'll jump right in. Now, like phase, you have the 0, 16, 32, 48, 64, 80, 96, 112 complex. So on the degree of an LFO, okay, we're spinning through density like we would be spinning through cycle. This is how it goes. Other engines like this, like prism, liquid metal, metal, crystalline, you're going to do stuff like this because it's exact polar opposites. Oscillator 1 is red, oscillator 2 is blue. So, jump up here to random grain sine. Alright. Excuse me. So let's turn it to 0. Actually, let's mute this real quick because I'll show you. Look, listen to this. Let me add a little envelope on that so I can have a little release. 84. You see how it gets wider and kind of like more bright? Well, that's because as you go to 0 in pulse width, it spreads it out, scatters it. Now, glass grain, see how darker? Listen. See? Now, you could do the same thing with glass grain. So, let's get into the trickery and the how-to. So, you set the 0 on 1, right, on pulse width. Crank that pulse width amount to 63. LFO that. You know, set the LFO up, 0 key tracking because you don't need it. Start phase is 0, so it's in envelope mode. You go to oscillator 2, set the pulse width to 16 because that's how to go on the inversion. Use the same LFO because why do you need to make the machine work harder? That's retarded. Here's what you get. Now if I mute that or kill the oscillator, bring it back in, see it moves. Now you FM between oscillators. So oscillator 1 FM source is oscillator 2. Crank it up a little bit. And the reason why I was a little bit mismatched is because I had random grain and glass grain at the same time. So yeah, you can mix it. I also have some special tricks and surprises probably in a later episode. We could probably do it though in this one maybe. Where you take resonators and you FM them to grain. Some type of effect like this. I've already done it. I did it last night with bipolar resonators and it's really cool. So I'll show you that type of trick. You get this kit on the store for the El Cheapo. I believe it's like 15. I don't know, you get like oh my god, like 200 almost 50 items in it. I know people are like, why do you have so many different shapes and stuff? It's like, dude, why the hell would I just do this in these 4 shapes, like, and then just leave it at that? Like, come on, man, that would be dumb and boring. And like for you to think that, oh, the shapes don't mean anything. Yes, they do. A triangle is not a circle, and a square is not a rectangle, man. Now you can split hairs and say, oh, well, if we stretch the square out, it's a rectangle. Yeah, I hear you. If you put 2 squares next to each other, yeah, split hairs all you want. I hear what you're saying. But like I said, a diamond is not a circle, and a circle is not a triangle, and a square, you know, can be a diamond. Yeah, like I said, if you want to split hairs and turn it to an angle, but you know what I'm saying, right? So for all the wise asses out there, I suggest you shut it and keep it shut. Because, like, I don't know, it just would make sense to have more variety than less. Because isn't that what we all want? Don't we all like options and variety? You know, sometimes I mean, routine is cool, right? I understand that. I'm setting up bandpass radio while I talk this shit. And Poor Man's Drive, you know how that goes. So, like I was saying, like, one should like options and choices and variety, because, like, you know, things can get redundant. Kind of like these videos. But, I don't know, hold up, excuse me. Cereal? Yeah. Now that sounds just like the granular engine on a virus right there. I mean, I owned it, so I know what it sounds like. I screwed around with it, but that is just it right there. I know you guys heard the stutter stepping, yes. When you turn that LFO all the way down on some slow, you know, pour that syrup on it, put them on them downers. You put it on that meth. Huh. Put on 110 meth. That meth on it. Random gray square. Now you can comb it out. Now, if I were to call up a piano, I would set up the envelope like this: 0 on the A, D would be 60, sustain would be 0, release would be like this, like on, like, I don't know, 60. You know? And that's like one of the key things you could do. Now, if I really were to set up a piano, I probably wouldn't use band pass, but maybe low pass and turn that reso. No, I actually might like that band pass for that, specifically. Yeah, that's a nice piano. Now, let's turn up the augmented, diminished. Set the +6 or -6. Then I turn the cutoff down to match. This is 65. Middle integers. See that? It's better to have it on stuttery though. Slow for this piano. See, that's how easy you can call up stuff. Let me do something. Give me something to drink, and I will be right back with more on this random glass grain engine. Get it for cheap. www.tradercrow.com. Find it on eBay. I told you I have to get the price adjustments right. I don't know. I haven't been on eBay in a minute, so screw that for real, but you can go in there and still look at image galleries and such. However, I would advise you, prefer that you go to the actual website that's legit and secure and safe. And if there's anything you'd like to purchase there, please contact me. Any inquiries, please contact me. No, this is not any type of fraudulent programs. I'm not trying to fraud you out of $12 and maybe $20 at the most. You know, no, I'm not. But I do have a plethora. That's why it's called Trader Crow's Emporium. So you should check it out. I suggest it humbly, and I would appreciate your patronage. I'll catch you on the flip.